Hi, I'm Sean Martin, President and founder of Donix Snowboards. I'm going to talk to you about the F2 Carve RS and Race Titanium bindings and give you a little bit of a comparison between the two here. First, I'm going to talk about what it is I like about the F2 bindings. Number one is probably their ease of adjustment. They're really quick and easy to get adjusted to your boot. So they set up really nicely. All you got to do is turn a screw on the end here in order to drive the toe and heel in and out, and it adjusts very quickly and easily. Some bindings you're having to unmount and remount the toe and heel blocks, and that just takes a long time, and you got to get it just right. The other thing I like about the feel as far as the ride of these bindings is the way the binding pressures the board or the edge of the board. Some bindings are center loaded or have a mounting more in the center, and when you put the board up on edge, the board tends to flex a little from side to side, and it gives you a little bit of a mushy feel to the edge. These bindings, they pressure right under the toe and the heel, so when you put the board up on edge, you can really feel it biting. You can feel a very immediate, rapid engagement to that edge, which I like a lot. The other kind of neat thing is some other bindings I've ridden are very difficult to get into with a bail system. There's obviously step-in systems out there. I'm not going to talk about them in this video, but with the bail system on this binding, it's very forgiving of a misplaced boot. So you can easily just kind of drop your boot in there, flip up the bail, and it almost always goes in without any catch. A lot of other bail systems, if you don't get your boot down absolutely perfectly and everything lined up, it's difficult to get in. So this is a really quick, easy binding to get in and out of, easy to adjust, great feel on the snow. I'm going to first cover kind of the differences or what are some of the features or things about this Carve RS binding you want to understand. This is an all plastic base plate, so it's a little bit more flexible than the titanium base plate. It is intended more for a lighter weight rider or racer or less aggressive rider or racer. So generally I kind of, for racers, if you're less than 150 pounds, I might recommend this binding for you. If you're more than that, I'd go on to the Race Titanium. If you are a free carver and say less than 170 pounds and not super aggressive, then this might be a good choice for you. But if you're more on the aggressive side, a little heavier, I would go with the Race Titaniums. One of the kind of cool things about this is something you don't see very often in bindings these days. If you look closely, you'll notice that the slots on this binding are closer to one edge of the disc than the other. This gives you more adjustability in your stance width. If you can't get the stance width you want, a lot of times you can just rotate that disc 180 degrees, and then boom, you can land exactly where you're trying to find. So that's a really great feature on this binding. The Race Titanium is an all-metal base plate, so it's a lot more rigid, capable of handling a heavier rider, more aggressive rider. It's also got a metal center disc here, and this binding is probably the most common binding you're going to see at the upper levels of racing. It is tried, tested, done that so many times, won so many events. This is probably the most accepted race binding on the market today. So a great choice if you're a racer. I love it for free carving, so really a nice option here. I think that covers kind of the comparison and the overview of the two bindings. If you want to learn more about mounting them or setting up your bindings, check the other content on our channel.